Okay, good afternoon, Katherine. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you? It's hot.
It's very
Very,
hot.
very,
Yeah,
very.
it's very hot. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
also know that the city election is running very hot too, right? We have so
Yes.
many candidates over there. I think
Yeah.
we have four candidates, right, for the city
Yeah, the
mayor.
three main candidates, and then the
Mm-hmm,
gentleman,
mm-hmm.
um, I don't recall his name. He's young, new.
I think it's called
Um,
Louis. Yeah, Louis Huang.
Lewis.
Yeah, Louis
Lewis.
Huang. Yeah,
Yes, 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 yes. Yes.
wonderful.
He's a very, very nice. He's
Very
just
nice gentleman.
different.
Yeah.
Just very
Yes.
different.
Yes. Okay, wonderful. So we just want to focus on you a little bit, so that we can know a little bit further, and deeper about yourself. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes. My family, I visited Irvine 25, 30 years ago, and I was a single mom. I needed a place for my child to go to school. She was 4 years old. Her dad left us, and I was homeless for a while.
Wow,
And yeah, but that's okay because it made me much stronger of a person.
sure.
So I met someone who also had a couple of kids here in Woodbridge, and we roomed together
Hmm.
and we got our kids into what is the best school district in the country.
Yes,
So it was important to me to find the perfect place for my family. So that is one of the perfect reasons I moved here. And the quality of life. It was 30 years ago. It's a long time. And things are a little different, but still very good. The city is still a very good city. We were only about 70,000 people back then. Now we're closer to 300,000.
mm,
So, other than that, that's what drew me here, is to raise my daughter. My professional career, I finished school, a master's degree in business. I went to legal school, law school. I started with the company 22 years ago. I uh, grew within that company as an executive vice president. I was over finance, legal documents, contracts with the healthcare and pharmaceutical companies here in Irvine and across the United States.
I see.
So I'm very familiar with, and we did business with UCI too. So we did a lot of business in with healthcare. We did a lot of healthcare businesses.
Ah,
So I learned and grew, and after many years, oh, like I said, 25 years, I had a stroke. I had
oh,
a stroke when I was 45, which was about 9 years ago, 9 years ago. I was incapacitated for about 2 years.
wow.
And that's okay because I learned how to walk again. I learned how to get up and move again. I walk with a cane, but other than that, it worked out well. I'm a very strong person. So
Wow. What an
it's
inspiring story. Yeah.
yes, I want everyone to understand that
Yes.
there's adversity in everybody's life. We just need to stand up and get
Yes.
past that because we have our children. We need to get back into, society and make sure they grow up in with good foundations of life. And so these things are important to me. These things
Wonderful.
are very important. So that's
Wonderful.
really this is what I'm about.
Got
Really,
it.
yes,
Got it. Fight back very hard, right? That's you. Yeah.
yes.
So I
No,
know you.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know you're running for the mayor of Irvine right now. So may I
Yes.
know why do you run for the mayor of Irvine, and what are your goals as the mayor of Irvine?
Well, I want to preserve Irvine's master plan community. It's been kind of a wash with the other candidates that have run and won over the years. We have a lot of developers going in, and we have parts of the city that's not very well suited for families, young people, and we have a lot of transportation issues. Many people complain about that, but we're still a really great city. So what I'm hoping to do is provide more transparency, accountability for the way, because we're, I guess, over our budget um, significantly. We're in the red in the city. So things aren't being managed very well. So
Hmm.
I believe that it's important to really stick to the budget, figure out what's going on, let the people know what's going on, create some kind of public-private partnership with these businesses that are around here, that we can make good decisions as what is necessary for the people who live here, especially in the new areas down there at the Great Park. We have a lot of concerns down there because we have families that are moving in and we have no place for them to get services for some of these things. So to me, that's important. Protecting the resources that we do have. Great Park, we have many other parks. Woodbridge, as an example, has hundreds of parks, schools that are walkable, things that are important to families where you can let your children go out and play and not worry about these terrible streets that they have to deal with. So I understand that, having my own daughter. So I get it. I get it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. You know, we also walk to the school, you know, we really feel we are spoiled, you know, that's
Yeah,
all.
it is. It is. We are very, very, very spoiled. And
Yeah,
so I completely agree with you.
sure.
Completely.
Yeah. So my next question is that, you know, that for the past few months, you know, everything's really regarding the COVID-19. So how would you rate the city of Irvine's response to the COVID-19?
As I originally stated in my notes, I actually gave it an F, but I'll say a D. I'll say a
Okay.
D.
Okay.
We were, and I want to use the example of my daughter because she was in Grenada. She was at St. George Medical School. And she got married in December 31st to an Army guy that she'd been engaged to for 15 years. They split after that because he was in the military and she had to go back to school. So everybody went their separate ways. And then we had this horrible virus that hit us in January. And I started buying lots of PPE stuff so I could send it to my daughter in Grenada and for us here, because, you know, there's a lot of people here that didn't have the resources to be able to protect themselves. So that's what I did in January. In February, we started hearing the murmurs from the college students, and they were wondering what is happening. And we heard nothing from our city council, nothing. My daughter called me up and she said that they're being lifted out of there, out of the country. And they had commissioned an Afghanistan plane and got all the kids on it and had them come back to the US. And so once I started seeing that, picked up my daughter and had her here. She's been going to school here in the States at the house, like we're doing now, Zoom. And she was in her last term as a medical school student. So when I found out that the city still had not done anything, and I had watched the university, UCI, with all those students that are from out of the country, they had no resources. They had, not only did they have not resources, but they had commitments to where they were renting and where they were living. And that's a problem because if like my daughter's school, they got airlifted them out of there to go back home. Here, we didn't really do anything. So I had a real problem with that. They weren't there. They've not recommended anything. They didn't provide any grants. The federal government was providing grants to cities to be able to get those students back to where they belong, and also make sure they were paid for their schooling and other resources that they needed. The city still, in March and April, have done nothing. So I realized with all the corporations, and I'm talking about healthcare, pharmaceutical, UCI research, we have a lot of stuff here that can help. And if we had a good partnership with these people, which we should by now, some of these things could have been corrected early on. I went to UCI website and found out that there was a huge link to all of the resources that's available to anyone who wants to look there. That has not even been put on the city website. That should have been emailed to every taxpayer in the city. So I have a real big issue with how this was handled. It was not handled well. And we could have looked outside of the city and within our own city to find those resources and get those kids back home. So that's how I feel.
Thank you. Definitely. You know, we have a lot of resources. We really need to leverage those
Exactly.
resources. Yeah, got it.
Exactly.
Got it. So now we know, you know, we're in the probably in the middle of, you know, the still in the middle of COVID-19, and this be still be here with us for some time. So
I
what do you
agree.
think that's those are the issues, the critical issues or challenges facing the city of Irvine, and how
Yeah,
we solve them? Yeah.
yeah, we have no PPE. We still don't have testing. So they opened up a few testing sites, but shut them down almost immediately because they didn't
Mm-hmm.
have those testing sites and the tests that are available. The
Mm-hmm.
federal government has offered. It's just we haven't, as a city, done anything about it. Go after them, get them
Mm-hmm.
here. We should have been testing everyone, every school, every resident, probably in April, at the earliest, maybe even March. But we've done nothing. And up to this point, at least July, the end of July, there was some sort of testing going on, but still nothing, still nothing. So moving forward, it is a good plan, I think, for all cities, not just ours, but all cities, to
Mm-hmm.
have the amount of PPE resources for our residents, obviously. Testing, working with UCI. UCI does a lot of research. They have come up with enormous amounts of areas where they could help partner with the city on their research facility. My daughter was a research for the Veterans Administration in Loma
Mm-hmm.
Linda. And
Okay.
she had worked on, she's got a published paper. So I understand this. And for some reason, our city council does not. And we have great resources here to utilize.
Got
So
it.
that's what I would do.
Okay. Wonderful. And also we know, you know, besides the COVID-19, there is also like a social justice has been a hot issue for the past few months. And a
Yeah.
lot of people talking about those, you know, the police uh, reform,
Yeah.
and also something about like the law enforcement profession, all the issues. And
Yeah.
what do you think about those issues? Can you tell
Well,
us a little bit about your idea? Yeah.
I don't think getting rid of our police is the right answer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a columnist. I have written on the subject of police reform and police defunding. I think it's wrong. Our city is the way it is now because of our police, because of our firefighters, because we have a lot of safety personnel here and available,
Mm-hmm.
and they've maintained order.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, reform is always a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Learning more, finding out what kind of safety issues we have, and then extending that outreach to the companies that are here, the schools that are here. How about the K through 12? Those types of areas are going to be interesting, I think, moving forward. I'm not sure, but I think it would be the best interest of the current council or the new council to work with police on trying to figure out what we can do for K through 12.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Woodbridge, for example, has a lot of schools and it's walked. Lots of kids walk it. It's a very small area and they're always watched by the people who help them cross these very small streets. We don't have a lot of people crossing Culver or Jeffrey or Jamboree. So I think if we take that kind of mentality and we work it through the rest of the school system with the Irvine Police Department, I think we would have a little bit safer of a community for our kids. Our kids need some help, I think. I think we're missing something as far as the safety of our small children, especially now with all of these things that are going on in other cities with them being grabbed. It's frightening.
Sure.
It would have killed me if someone grabbed my daughter.
Sure.
It would have been my worst. And I never let her walk to school, but
Yes. Yeah.
it's just me. I think I was a little overprotective, but
No, I think all parents will care about that. That would be really the nightmare for every single family.
it
Yeah.
would be
Yes.
absolutely. So
Yes.
yeah, I think our police department has done a fantastic job. I do think though they need to expand, and I don't know where the city feels the population overall with how they would involve themselves with the small kindergarten through 12th grade, because they're, I think, the most at risk
Sure.
for problems moving forward.
Got it. Got it. Okay. My last question is that, we all know that a lot of cities have been hit hard and by the COVID-19 and all have some like a budget issue. So
Yes.
how, if we elected, how would you, bring those small businesses, return those small businesses to the city of Irvine, and how would you improve the financial situation for the city of Irvine?
Well, the best thing we have now is, when I said things about the developers, the bad things, they're good things about the developers, where they get these houses and they get families in these houses. It's a great revenue stream. So the more people that we have in some of these very new areas, the better our revenue stream are, as well as small business. The issue currently, and it's backed up, I understand, the planning area, is that we don't have enough service type of businesses in the Great Park area, not as much as we have here in Turtle Rock, Woodbridge, Deer Park, and even Walnut area, Green Tree area.
Yes.
I think we need to expand that, moving out towards Portola and towards the Great Park. We have a lack of business and small business in particular. So of course I would never tax anybody. I'm not a tax and spend type of candidate. So doing some kind of regulation where they would be able to suspend a certain amount of taxes in order for them to gear up, set up, and expand their small businesses, whether it's a small service type of industry or a large industry. We just had a hospital move in, Hope Center, move in, and it is a wonderful place. We will have a lot of jobs. It's a cancer area, cancer unit type of facility, and I suspect it will be a wonderful addition to Irvine and a great deal of help to our residents. These things are important, along with, maybe finishing up the Great Park, where we have a lack of participation on 5 Points. They don't attend the meetings anymore. They don't finish things that they start. I don't know why they're not doing that, why they're not being held accountable. I imagine, and people won't like to hear this, but I imagine because the current council is paid by these 5 Points, that they are making it more difficult for them or for the residents to be able to enjoy the fruits of their labor, because they were taxed for this. There is nothing necessary from the citizens of this city. They need to be able to use that land for sports, or maybe even an Olympic run, maybe a swim team or something of this nature. My daughter was a nationally ranked figure skater. So I would love to do an Olympic or even something on a smaller scale, maybe, something every couple of years where we have certain sports that do their trials here. These things are great. They're good for families. They bring families together and they support, the kids. I'm sorry, my dogs.
No worry. Don't worry. Yeah.
I have 2 big dogs.
Okay, good.
Anyway, I think that'll bring a lot of money into the city.
Yeah.
Of course, with all of the conventions being held, with hospital and healthcare, the university. Then if we have games, things of this nature, and with sports, I think it will be a wonderful place to excel, at least in revenue, and we won't have to tax the residents.
Definitely.
Yes.
We have so many opportunities to work on.
Exactly.
That's a good thing for the city of Irvine.
Yes, we have a beautiful city, and we really could use a burst of revenue, especially after COVID.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Katherine. Really appreciate it. I know your dogs also need you too, So yeah, I think we're going to stop here. And I also want to tell our audience, whoever really wants to help Katherine, volunteer or do the fundraising for Katherine, please visit her website, katherinedaigle.com, right?
Yes.
Which is www.katherine.com.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time, and we just wish you all the best
I
for your
appreciate
campaign.
it. This is my daughter.
Oh, hi, how are you? Nice to see you. I know your mom is very proud of you.
Oh yeah,
She's my love.
Okay, wonderful. I learned a story from your mom, you know. She's a great
Oh,
fighter.
of course,
I
yeah.
really appreciate, yeah, I really, you know, admire that.
I appreciate your help, and thank you for helping me work together on, we had to put it off a couple times, and I'm so sorry.
No worry. Okay. I enjoy, okay?
Take care.
You
You do
too.
the same, okay?
Be cool. Bye-bye.